now it is time for our next speaker, who is a visionary leader who has transformed her organization into a powerhouse of collaborative philanthropy. With a decade of impactful work at Edelgift Foundation, she has pioneered initiatives like the Grow Fund and forged crucial partnerships across various sectors. An inspiring figure for women in leadership, she has consistently championed innovative and impactful initiatives. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Ms. Naghma Mulla, who is the CEO of Edelgift Foundation.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining us, Naghma.
Thank you.
So let me get straight into it, Naghma. What were the most sort of important things that helped you specifically to sort of rise in your path?
So if you'd asked me 10 years ago, there was no path. I'm a chartered accountant who realized after becoming one and working that I didn't like it at all. And then it took me 3 years to figure that, do I want to be working and miserable or gymming and miserable? So I had the privilege really to take some time off and think about it. So I just quit because till I would be in the wheel of, what workforce was doing to me, I wouldn't have time to think.
Right.
I think what helped is I know when I don't want something. I thought that'll get me far enough. But the thing is, it doesn't. Sometimes you have to step out and figure this out. So after waiting and just canceling and removing options for myself that I didn't like, I realized I'll have to go and explore what I would want to do. So instead of mailing people, I remember this is my favorite story. I put like this 1 kilometer path on my map. And I said, I will walk into every office and find what they do because that's how I will know what I would like to be a part of. So I would walk into offices with my printed CV hidden in my bag and make friends with the reception, with the guards, with the staff who would walk around, just to figure what that office was doing. Because otherwise it was just a car company or a hotel what did I want to do with my life? And
that's one way of figuring it out.
No, and then there was a little exercise where, because I didn't know what I wanted to do, I said, okay, what do I want to feel every day when I come back from work? And I had some interesting shortlists, which is I want to feel like I've talked to a lot of people, like I've made a lot of people happier. I want to come back richer with stories. And then I decided I think I want to be a reception. But it is one of the most, I thought, important jobs. And I'm a chartered accountant. So obviously the entire ecosystem kind of rushed me away. But what I'm coming to really is I wanted a foot in the door. And that's probably the biggest learning I've had for the last 10 years. That you may not know where you'll end up, but the foot in the door is important. And then the path will clear up. So for me, it was that. I entered Edelweiss. As a program officer at a ripe old age of 35. Nobody does that. But it was the most remarkable entry point, and then it just took off.
Yeah, give it a shot, right? Give it a shot. But let me ask you about Stree-Leads, Naghma. How is Edelgift prioritizing and boosting ambitious young women on their leadership journey?
I think it's a lot like what you're trying to do here. When we are there sitting in our different homes, trying to make it big in our lives, we hear of these accomplished, beautiful women and who are spoken of as these unique, brilliant, outstanding women, the best at this and that, and super this and super that. And we're pedestalizing them to such a point that it becomes almost difficult to be that person. I'm not so
The expectation
so far. I think Stree-Leads is trying to basically bring out the super in everyone. We share what we know and we listen to what we don't know, and the exchange makes us much richer. A lot like what we're doing, I think, tonight. I love the stories you all shared because it just makes us richer. And we realize at the end of it all how similar we are and therefore how unique we are too.
I know we're talking about all women here, but how important is sort of, the male involvement and men's involvement in these journeys and these women that you speak to?
How can it be done without a man? The one is men are everywhere in our lives, in our work. They're in our journeys. They're an integral part of our journeys. You can't just think it can happen without them. Second is this world, whether it's our offices or at our home, they were structured around men. The entire structure is built for men, for them to rise, for them to complain, for them to rest, for them to join, for them to drop off. in this world, when you're trying to fit ourselves in, why would we want to force fit, or we want to negotiate our way in? And in that negotiation, the man is very important. He has to make way, and that's why he has to make sense of why we are even there. And we'd be surprised at how many men don't understand that, simply because they're not exposed to that conversation. So talking to men becomes important. Getting them to participate in that is extremely important.
I'm looking at some of the men here, and we'll hear from them later today. But Naghma, my final question to you, is there someone that you'd like to give a shout out to, women, men, whoever? Yeah.
See, I joined at a time when I had no path for myself, and I had a woman boss. So every time I hear about women being women's worst enemies and not, lifting them, I look back at my own journey. I had a woman trust me where there was no reason to trust, and watch me grow and enable it. And I think I would call out my chairperson, Vidya Shah, who had no reason to believe in me, but who thought, let's give it a shot. What's there to lose? And then made it okay for me to fumble. And I think if that is a gift that we can pass on to our juniors, our peers, and our sisters, it would be fantastic.
Lovely. Thank you so much again for joining us, Naghma.
Thank you.
And I love what you said about getting a foot in the door. Thank you.